iZombie Season 2, Episode 8, The Hurt Stalker. This is a really good episode, especially the ending of it. This is kind of what I expected to happen ever since Liv and Major kissed in the apartment. So we finally have it, probably, well, definitely, in the worst possible way it could have happened, even though I didn't, technically, like, this stupid recording cut off right as she was about to push the button to see the picture, so I didn't get to see her exact reaction. But I can assume that it was really bad. I have no idea what the next episode is supposed to be either, so that really sucks. I can hope that it's gonna have a focus on her realizing that Rita is her roommate. So I can look forward to that, I assume. And also just the fact that she, of course Rita was texting Major even after everything was supposed to be said and done. I'm assuming she did that on purpose because, of course, she knows, what Liv was thinking. Like, okay, well, maybe he deserves to be punished and this and that. So that's why she did that, just to taunt him, and in the hopes that Liv would eventually see that message and, try to get something out of him. So, really sucks that that's how it ended, but this was definitely a great episode. A crazy one, really, because it started off, they do the recap and everything. It's like, alright, this is what happens. We see the woman who left this envelope on the FBI agent's, of course I can't remember her name, but she left this on the FBI agent's doorstep. I definitely thought it had something to do with zombies, and it turns out that was just like a tricky little lead up into this episode, and it just simply involved Babineau and him almost being, sent to jail for her murder, or sent to prison for her murder. And that wasn't the only crazy thing, because Liv actually ends up in jail in this episode. So there was a lot of weird stuff that took place, and it was, part of it was because of the brain, but the other part, them just trying to help Babineau, was, because of the case, and her being in, I guess, the chief's chair, who, I guess the woman who's supposed to be there is the commissioner or something. So this guy was above her, because she wasn't in there, but this random guy we've never seen before, so I guess it goes commissioner and then chief. So the chief actually shows up in this episode, and he ends up being involved in this case because he cheated on his wife, so that was the big thing. I thought for sure he was the one that actually killed her once that was kind of revealed. I was like, oh, he must have been the one that did it. And then we go all the way around. It always ends up, it's normally in this show, it's either the very first person they spoke to, if it's not them, it's probably someone that's been in the show already, or it's just something totally crazy, like the episode where the woman died because the guy, robbed the house or whatever. He robbed a bank, or a gas station. He robbed someplace. I think it was a gas station, and she just happened to be home. So it's always seems to be one of those three things. It's like the first person they go to, or something like that. So I was still surprised, because it's either the first person or it's the person at random. And that's how it always is. It's like, oh, it's this person we've never seen before, or it's the very first person we talk to, and then poof, here's that last piece of evidence, and that's how it plays out. So it was still fun, though. It was certainly fun them going around, because they had so many different clues, and it was like, alright, obviously it wasn't Clive. We all knew that was the case. This guy, when he got stabbed in the beginning, I kind of thought it would be pretty easy, but technically, if you've never had a criminal charge or anything, your fingerprints wouldn't be on file if you've never been, printed before. So, I guess it made sense that they wouldn't instantly have that answer, but it was kind of funny watching him after he got stabbed in the leg. I'm like, he took off, and there's this big blade, this little thing. It was 4 times the size of the blade, and there was just this much blood, and he just walked away. I'm like, there is no way in the world that makes sense. It's like, that just should, even common sense, that should probably be something you kind of look out for. Oh, she stabbed me in the leg. It's just like a giant smear of my blood on this blade. Probably should have just picked that up. Could have been a little bit better. There probably still would have been blood underneath it, but he's just like, oh no, my sister shot her, get in the car, let's get out of here. I was like, they're gonna get busted. Whoever he is, he's gonna get caught. So of course that ends up happening once they get the blood samples in. But the fact that it was the first wife that they went to did surprise me, because they go through all the motions and everything like that, and we find out she knew that her husband cheated, and she was actually okay with it, but she killed her because she was kind of crazy, and that was pretty much, that was, kind of the defining thing. It was too much for her, and it wasn't even meant to happen. It was just to scare her, and then she got the upper hand, because it was kind of a fluke. The guy was trying to scare her, and then it really flipped on him. And just all sorts of craziness. The fact that she had, the fact that she even had that, like, I know she was a wedding planner, but the fact that she actually had that in her purse, still pretty weird. Plus she had Babineau's gun, which she stole, and then all the craziness about making all of the fake binders and everything with all the Photoshop pictures and stuff, which was really funny when they first showed it with Clive. And it was like, look at this, like, Clive's hands are white in this picture, which was just really funny to me. I love that one. But she was a crazy character, and it's like, she didn't really deserve to die. She was like the worst person, and it was still kind of on the guys to, or at least the one guy who was getting married, and I guess technically the chief. I guess really Babineau was the only person that wasn't cheating on somebody else. The other guys were. But like, it's still on them. But yeah, obviously she was a bit nuts, and it did kind of make for an entertaining ride through this case, because it's like, well, this person was crazy, so it kind of distorts who would have a good enough reason to kill her, because it's like, alright, well, Liv had the vision about the first husband, and it's like, well, he could have been the one to do it. And then it goes to the chief, and obviously it skips over Clive, because, it's Clive. But it just goes all the way around, and then it gets back to the sister, or the wife and her brother. And it's like, here it is. This is finally how we figure out this whole crazy case. And ultimately it was a simple little fluke, and it was that the woman stole her wedding ring. And obviously, once again, one of the things that they always do in like detective stuff is like, oh, here's this random piece of information, and that's kind of what solved the case. So I certainly still enjoyed it. The side story of Liv being on this stalker brain was definitely interesting, because it seemed like it would have to have led to something important. And it's crazy that after everything that happened with her on the brain, her figuring out the truth came after the fact. And I actually love that. It was like she wasn't on the brain anymore, and I could understand how she'd still do that even without it, because it was from Rita. It was like, how in the world could she not let that go? Or how could she let it go? So it's just like, it makes it more impactful that she wasn't just on like the stalker brain anymore. She was herself, and it was something that she learned while on the brain. It's like, it's said and done, and yet this message comes in. And so first it's like, she assumes Major's cheating, and then she gets the picture, and that's an actual reveal, which who knows how that's going to play out for her character. I don't know if she's going to go full zombie, which we also almost got in this episode, but it's not going to be good. But I'm certainly looking forward to it. I love the part where she did actually get sent to jail. I was surprised. I was wondering how that was going to work. It was like, I guess technically she's just in the car, so it's not the worst thing. It's not like a felony, but I think that can be. I guess it depends how you do it. I don't know. But yeah, it was pretty interesting seeing Liv in jail, and she was in there for like almost 3 full days, and she was definitely about to kill that woman. It was like she just hit her. She was so mad at her. I thought they were going to end up fighting when she was saying shut up. I thought the woman would actually hear her, and then they'd get into a full-on fight, and she would like destroy this woman. But fortunately she gets released, and we don't see her on any crazy brains or anything like that, which we might see a lot more people on, or maybe not full zombie mode, depending on whether or not they're human, but we do have like the new Supermax, which we find out not only amps up zombies, which I thought was crazy, because this was a zombie that was like the generic slow-moving zombie, little IV of the Supermax, and this thing goes from, I think they said from like 2 miles up to 10 miles max. That is a huge difference in like a little shambling zombie, and it gets more aggressive and everything. And then we see, what it does to humans, and it pumps you up as like an insane energy drink that actually fills you up, but clearly it sends you into like an actual rage, and which the regular Max Ranger did as well, where it drove people nuts. But this, I don't know what to think of that. It kind of gives you super strength a little bit. It's almost like a Hulk type drink a little bit, and that was a really funny scene too, because that guy was grunting like crazy, and it was super funny. Like, I love that scene. And then he throws the ball at him, and he's yelling, and it's like, okay, well, I thought they figured out something good. Like, crap, this is going to be dangerous, because they figured out basically, here's how we, get super strength for a couple minutes, or, whatever. And then it's like, oh, they get super strength, and they get super angry, which is twice as dangerous, if they do decide to go after Liv, or even Major, which I thought that's what the guy was going to do, and he's like, oh, I have someone in mind. I think, like, everyone, it was like, oh, he's going to go after Major, but it seemed like he went and kind of tested it himself, but there must have been someone. Maybe it was the doctor that he was talking to, because he was just like, killing people off like crazy, I guess. I don't know, but it seemed like that kind of didn't come up again, but they still figured out the answer, and that's where the Supermax drink came from. But I don't know if Major will have to use that or not, but I feel like he will once things kind of fall apart with him freezing all the people he's supposed to be killing. I think he might have to take the Supermax. He'll probably have it on him for TV reasons, I guess. And then he'll have to take it because he'll have like 3 unthawed zombies coming at him, probably trying to eat him. I don't know how the whole hunger thing works. Once people are frozen, if it's like a cryo freeze, they wake up in the same state they went down in. But he might still have to do that just to take them out, at least for a little bit, because I'm pretty sure you can knock zombies out. I know you can, because we've seen that happen a couple of times. If they get shot in vital places, they have to actually heal. But I don't know if that works the same way. If you punch a zombie super hard, can they get knocked unconscious? So I think it'll still play a part, even though Major wouldn't want to do that. I think they've shown us something that's clearly going to affect someone in the show. Someone else is going to use it, and that's why they gave us, here's our example for what it does to zombies and to humans. So maybe we'll actually see it work on Liv. Maybe it'll turn her full zombie much longer than she initially intended, or something like that. But either way, I think this was a pretty fun episode. I believe next week, I would assume, is the fall finale, because I don't believe this one was. So I have to assume it's going to be a lot about Liv figuring out what is going on with Rita and Major, and that might finally lead her to finding out exactly what Major was doing. I don't think it'll lead to Clive and everyone else figuring out, but I think Liv might be the one to get that connection finally, where it's like, this is what's been happening with him, and it's been going on for quite some time. So I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully that's what it's about, because like I said, soon as her thumb went to push the button, right after she pushed it, the recording ended. I was like, me and our girlfriend were both watching. It was just like, great. So we don't get to see officially the reaction. It was basically the end of the episode. I know there couldn't have been much outside of a really sad or possibly angry reaction, but either way, it was the end of the episode. So I was like, at least we know she saw it. So that said a lot. But can't wait to see what happens next week. Really looking forward to this. I'm assuming it's going to be the finale, so whether it's the finale or not, definitely looking forward to it. But of course, I want to know what you guys thought about this episode, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And because of what happened in this ending with Liv finally figuring out what's going on, and also having kind of this added perception that she assumes Major is cheating on her, I want to know your speculations for what's going to happen in next week's episode, because I think we're going to get kind of full-on, rage zombie mode Liv, and she might not want to stop it. I don't know if she'll actually go after Rita and kill her or anything like that, because I feel like that would be too extreme, because she wouldn't know all the facts all at once. But I don't know. There's a lot that can happen in an hour's worth of a show, and they can kind of just throw the answers on one by one for her. And she'll know that Major's in danger once she realizes, like, this is, exactly what's happening. I'm sure she'll get that answer, like, this is exactly what he's been doing, and this is exactly why. And she might go on the offensive, so I feel like she easily could. That would be a really crazy change for the show, because that's not something that Liv really does. But it would be really cool to see that. But I want to know your speculation, so please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.